welcome back everybody to Rogue Legacy 2. I've set up this particular recording so that we'll transport directly to the boss. So we'll do a initial attempt at the boss, and then hopefully be done with this boss, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. That's our main goal here, is to get to her and hopefully beat her so we can move on with the game. She's a little bit of a puzzle, I've discovered after fighting her a couple times. I definitely don't want to do that. So what we're looking for is to do consistent damage to her. So it's going to require me running around this board here a little bit, and when I have a chance to deal damage to her, to do so. Another thing I discovered about this boss battle is it actually takes less HP to fall in the spikes than if I were to get hit by one of her projectiles. See right there, I got 49 damage, crash damage, versus the spikes that dealt 49 again. Instead of spikes only deal about 24, so it's a little bit, about half damage to land in the spikes. And then of course these pop up at the halfway point, so what we're looking to do here is turn them off so I can attack her. The center one being the most important one. Turn off. Yep. So I found that her projectiles, not these, but I mean obviously these are pretty straightforward, but the one that she fires right here are much easier to dodge than I originally thought. As are these. They just require you to not be in her range when she throws them. Double jump is also pretty, I wouldn't say required, but it's pretty key. Oh damn it, I gotta watch out for that. Fortunately, a little colorblind, so that sort of blended in for me, and then yeah, that killed me. Oh well, we'll make another attempt here in a moment. Boss, and see if we can't prioritize getting to her. One hit wonder is not gonna work. I mean, that's a nice thought, but I'd have to have something that negates all damage somehow. I'd rather play as a pacifist. At least with that, I got extra hits that, and you know, stuff that I can deal with, even if I can't deal damage to anyone. I'm gonna have to figure out if the whatever this class is called, the Astromancer, is based on the attack. Is it based on your physical attack or magical attack? Because you know, 11 times whatever, you know, that's great, but you know, what's 15 times? You know, let's say 15, you know. Those are doing 8 because they're not non-criticals. I mean, like, you know, 8 to 11 bump that up to 15, bump that up to whatever, 20, and it just becomes devastating. I'm guessing it's probably based on some percentage of your either magic attack or physical attack. Unfortunately, nothing up here. You guys are devastated by this attack. Because it acts as both a continuous attack and those guys get canceled out when they get hit. Little shadow dudes. One big problem is you can't see what's going on behind your attack, so you gotta oops, sorry, bumped the mic. You gotta anticipate that they're doing damage, or they're still coming at you. Is what I mean, is they're still walking towards you. That's pretty good, even though I tend to jump to attack. Once I hit the ground, it kicks in the bonus damage. See. Candy. No candy for me. He didn't die initially there. Warg did die, which is surprising. Got a little lucky, I think, there. Man. Be impressed if I don't take any damage in this room. Alright, I'm impressed. I was kind of threading the needle there a couple times. Alright. Let's see if we can figure out the puzzle. Probably not. Yeah, looks like it gave me enough time for 2 tries, so... You know, it's a 1 in 6 chance there of getting that right unless you follow the pipes correctly, which I did do. I do like how they gave every class a unique weapon. Instead of everyone relying on the great sword like they did in Rogue One. Alright, so we're gonna give the boss another try here. Did also think about maybe upgrading the ability that restores my health before entering the boss arena. So like, even if it was just like, say, half health, I could be like, okay, I'm at half health, I can still go into the boss with full health. So this is doing a pittance of damage to her, but it is continual damage, so... I'm 100% sure that ends up equaling out in the end, but maybe it does. I gotta stop missing those down strikes. Dead. I'm dead. I died. You died. Seeds of choice, a fruit of promise. Fruit of promise. Vegan, that's great. Vegan doesn't play very well in this Halloween version because they changed all of the food to candy, and candy, it does not penalize it doesn't benefit the vegan, but what happens is when you pick one of those classes where it stipulates that you're only allowed to eat one type of food, when you find candy, which becomes it seems to become a lot rarer, but when you do find candy, it only gives you 1 HP instead of either penalizing you for eating meat or, you know, giving you a thumbs up for not. Plus, meat's so rare in this game, or at least this patch version with the candy. It's so rare to run into candy. And like when you're really looking for it, you can't find it, and when you don't really need it, it seems to pop up a whole bunch. So, you know, standard stuff. Standard gameplay. Dash really isn't worth my time. I'll keep it on for the moment, but I think I'm going to be taking that off here in a moment. Soon, you know. It takes up a lot of room. And there are probably better things that I could say. Didn't need candy, immediately get 2 candy. Later on, I'll need candy, won't be able to find it. Here's a thought for you. Recently, found out from my mother that one of my cousins has broke up with his longtime girlfriend. She had been, or they had been together for about 11 years. Met in college, etc. And I don't exactly know what the story is there, but apparently she didn't want to get married at any point. It wasn't really something she wanted to do. And I don't really know, you know, like I said, the full details. I think it might have been a distance thing where, you know, they'd been together and dating for so long, and then, you know, he went to get his doctoral away from her, and, you know, I guess stuff may have changed. You know, the concept of the absence makes the heart grow fonder. Not 100% true when you're not physically around enough, I guess. But anyways, this kind of left me thinking about this subject, mainly in terms of, like, you know, like a number of different things, you know, like, you know, on the one hand, like, at no point again, it's like I said, it's probably a situation where they were just away from each other, that, you know, stuff, you just sort of fell out of love because you weren't close enough to each other. Or I don't know. I mean, the point I'm trying to get at is, at some point in those 10 or 11 years, you think that there would have been some sort of red flag, or, you know, disagreement, like basic disagreement, that would have, you know, broken you know, the two of them up at some point in that time span, like somewhere in the ballpark of, say, 2 years or so, 3 years. Because it's a long time to be together with someone, and not think that they're the right person for you. You know, I mean, I certainly can understand, you know, you love someone and you're willing to overlook their faults and hope that they eventually change, but, you know, as far as I know, my cousin isn't an alcoholic or a drug addict or a abusive, you know, he's not an abuser by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, that's a good one. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it in a number of different ways. Like, you know, on the one hand, like, you know, that's got to be really hard to be, you know, dating someone for that long, or, you know, in a relationship with someone for that long, and just, you know, have it end. But I'm thinking, you know, maybe more practically, you know, say you live 100 years, okay? That's a long ass life, okay? You're gonna spend 1/10 of it, you know, wasting your time with a person, you know, that you don't plan to be with forever, long term. And maybe that's just me being old-fashioned or whatever, but I don't know. From what I've seen, there are people that find ways to mess up their life regardless of how good things are going for them, and they self-sabotage themselves. And then other people, you know, they make a mistake early in life, and then, you know, they get a divorce, or you know, whatever, and then they find the right person, and because of the, you know, hard feelings they had for that first person, you know, they put off getting married for 10 or 20 years, you know, just because, you know, you're expecting, you know, this new relationship that's lasted 5 or so years to crumble like your first relationship that lasted, you know, 6 to 10 years, you know, and you kind of just put up with each other because, you know, that's what married people do. And eventually got to the point where, no, that's not what we want, you know, and you get the divorce because you can't stand living together anymore, you know. But, and like I said, I've met people that, you know, were with their significant other for 15 years before settling down a second time, and at that point, you know, you've invested, you know, first of all, subtract roughly 20 years off your age, off whatever number I'm going to throw out, or add 20 years to whatever number I'm about to throw out. You know, you spend 5-10 years with someone, now you're 25-30, another 15 years, you're in your mid-40s. I mean, that's halfway through your life, mind you, and you still have, you know, the other, roughly other half of your life to go, but, you know, so you still have plenty of time. But I mean, when you're, you know, in your mid-30s and, you know, you've been dating someone for half your life, you know, practically, and that person up and leaves you, it's just like, I don't know, seems like a waste. I mean, it's obviously an emotional, you know, travesty for him. I mean, it was like, oh hey, I mean, maybe he saw it coming. I don't know. I haven't talked to him because you know I don't really see my cousins much anymore. Since the grandparents passed, anyways. Just everything's more difficult now, it seems. I mean, not literally everything's more difficult, because everyone's got their own, every generation's got their own unique trials and tribulations. I just, you know, the ability to find time off when, you know, everybody time is being demanded by work and, you know, children and, you know, money you spend on, you know, traveling to a family reunion or whatever is, you know, money that you may or may not be able to give up. Time and money, I mean. Destroy all the targets. Open me. Don't get hit. Oh, one of these. I love these. These are my favorites. Yeah, I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. I'm so good at it. It's probably the first one of those I've done. So dumb. Now, if it had asked me to hit 2 more targets, I would have died there, you know. Let's see where we need to go. Sort of wrapping up my earlier thought. I kind of didn't want to bring this up because I feel like it's a bit unfair, but at the same time, I start to wonder about this as well when it comes to, you know, what I observe in reality. You know, like I said, not you know, every pant size is gonna fit everybody. You know what I mean? I sew up a pair of pants, you know, it's not gonna fit everybody. It's gonna fit a select number of people, you know, if that. But supposedly she had come from a multiple divorced family, you know, where they got divorced, found new step parents, and then couldn't live with them either. So again, I don't know all the facts. I'm just sort of speculating, but I've seen it happen a couple times to people that I'm close to, where you know they date someone from a broken household, and you know you come from one that is not broken. You know, where you know your family's been together forever and ever, you know, or whatever. So there's no real frame of reference there, and I don't know if that's, you know, because you don't share that common understanding, or there's a misunderstanding about, well, you know, my parents and grandparents, you know, had been together for, you know, 40, 50, 60 years. You know, their marriages lasted that long. You know, you just presume the person's always going to be there, whereas they see it kind of differently, where everything's sort of temporary. Or perhaps the concept that you're able to bond over a, you know, a shared disagreement, and you know, either you accept the fact that everything's temporary, and that, you know, even a commitment is non-binding. You know, it just, you know, that's something that, you know, I don't want to say two broken households hold each other together. That's certainly not the truth. But shared common experiences. But I don't know. Again, it's a matter of perception. You know, on the one, and you know, the answers are never simple. The answers aren't, well, you know, her parents should have just stayed together even though they were miserable, or, you know, they shouldn't have gotten together in the first place. You know, okay, great. You know, that's a plus thumbs up answer that you're not right for each other. You shouldn't get together. But you know, in terms of someone's existence, you can't say, well, your parents should have never got settled down and gotten married or gotten pregnant or whatever, because, you know, you're essentially saying, well, you shouldn't exist. It's a hard pill to swallow, because, you know, I feel like everyone just sort of, and I know science has sort of proven this differently, I guess, you know, in terms of probability, but, you know, of the million upon millions of, you know, sperm that go through my, you know, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, etc., and the number of, you know, say, you know, eggs that my mother had gone through, my grandmother, etc., the likelihood of me existing is an impossibility, you know. But yet I do. I am that exception, because, you know, that's how life is. I mean, somebody's got to win. It's like the lottery, you know, but you're playing infinite odds, you know. But yet I exist for some reason, whether that's a divine creation or, you know, the impossible luck, you know, the you know, the sheer, you know, one in infinity chance, yet that, you know, not truly infinity, it's a number that exists that's far beyond my human understanding. So like I said, I mean, the answers aren't always easy. I mean, a lot of stuff just, you sort of have to either have to give up trying to reason it, or you have to give into some sort of higher, you know, cosmic power that, you know, you're either here accidentally, but you're the luckiest son of a bitch that's ever lived, or, you know, you're here for some divine reason that, you know, you might not have a singular purpose in this existence, but, you know, you exist, so you know, you're going to in some way be a statistic. You know, you're going to matter in some way, shape, or form, even if you're not able to see it ever. You know, you exist, and so long as, you know, you exist, that's all that seems to really matter, because, you know, the whole butterfly effect thing, where, you know, even though it doesn't seem like your little wing flapping could cause a hurricane, it ultimately does in such small, insignificant ways. So, that's enough of that subject. Talk about duty or something. That sounds like fun. You know, poo-poo.